Hey everyone, my name is Dr. Ssebagala Umar. Today we shall be discussing a very important topic, and this topic is about male infertility. Many times a couple fails to have a child, the blame is normally put on a woman, and she is always blamed for being responsible for that couple not having a child. But today we understand that 50% of a couple struggling to have a child, a male factor is usually responsible. This is to say that 50% of couples that fail to have a child, a male or a husband could be responsible in 50%. So today we shall be understanding a very important aspect that is responsible for male infertility. And this factor is about the quality of sperms. So what is about the quality of sperms? Sperms, before we understand the quality of sperms, let's first look at this simplified diagram that shows us the structure of a sperm. The sperm has a head, as you can see, and within this head we have a part that is called acrosome, and then we have a nucleus. The sperm has a neck, it has a middle piece where there is mitochondria, which is responsible for generating energy for this sperm during its motility. There is also a tail, which is called flagellum, that is responsible for propelling this sperm forward during the time of fighting to get to the ovary so that fertilization can take place. So there are four important metrics that are usually looked at for us to say that the sperms are of good quality or it's of poor quality. We shall look at these ones individually and try to understand how each of these metrics can really contribute to male infertility. First metric is about the count, which means the sperm numbers. The number of sperms produced during ejaculation is very key in determining the fertilization of an egg, thus resulting into a woman conceiving. So many times we have found out that in a couple that is struggling to have a child, a male factor related to sperm count is responsible for that couple failing to have a child. So in an ejaculum, every time you ejaculate, over 39 million sperms are produced. This appears to be a very large number, but this shows you how difficult conceiving can be, because out of these 39 plus sperms that are produced, only one sperm is expected to fertilize an egg, and usually it is a very, very big battle for that sperm to move through the reproductive system of a woman up to where it will fertilize an egg. So one has to have a good quantity of sperms in terms of numbers if there is to be a chance of fertilization. Another important metric is about motility. From this diagram, we have said that flagellum is very key in propelling this sperm forward after it has been ejaculated towards the egg for fertilization. But also we saw that in this part, the middle piece, we have mitochondria, which is like a powerhouse that generates energy for this sperm to move. So for this sperm to be able to move through a harsh environment, a vaginal harsh environment that is acidic, and then forward into the uterus and into the tubes, and then ovary for fertilization, it must be able to have characteristics that will enable it to move. That is to say, these parts of the sperm, the flagellum, the mitochondria, and the head must all be in good shape and quality for a sperm to be able to fertilize an ovary. Another important thing is about morphology, the shape and structure. In this way, the most important aspect is that the head, which is the first part to come into contact with an ovary, must be of normal morphology, must be of normal shape. Otherwise, it will not be able to penetrate the wall of the ovary that is always resistant and only willing to accommodate one sperm out of 30 million plus sperms that come towards it. So the shape of the head or the morphology must be in good shape and must be of good quality if we are going to have fertilization. Another important metric is about the DNA fragmentation. In this nucleus, which is within the head of the sperm, there is important material that is called DNA. This contains a blueprint or instructions that will be given during fertilization to determine the physical characteristic of who you will be or what type of a baby is going to come out of this fertilization. So it is very important that the DNA itself is of good quality. Otherwise, if this DNA is not of good quality, even when fertilization takes place, the resultant baby might have physical abnormalities. So it is very important that the DNA is equally of a good quality. So having understood these four metrics, we would like to understand why the sperm quality matter, or really what goes wrong. So the low quality stroke motility tries to show us that fertilization is a game of numbers. How much sperms or how many sperms one is able to produce decides or determines if fertilization will take place. So fertilization is actually a game of numbers. So the more sperms that are produced, the higher chances of fertilization. So it's very important that one has a good number of sperms so that these sperms are able to fight and fertilize the ovum. Another important thing is about the poor morphology. This we have already explained. We have said that if the shape of the sperm is not good, it will not be able to penetrate the coating or the wall of the ovary, which is usually resistant to fertilization. So the sperm that is going to have the chance of fertilizing the ovary must have a very good shape, particularly its head. So having understood these characteristics and how important they are to fertilization, we would like to understand why certain men may have poor quality of sperms. The reasons are numerous, but we are going to look at some of the key important reasons. One is about lifestyle. So there are certain things that we do and they appear to be harmless, but when you look at them from scientific point of view, they can have a big effect. Things like laptops, putting laptops on your laps, you are reading for a long time, there's a lot of heat that is generated, and this heat can be transmitted to your testicles. And remember, the testicles, by nature, they are hanging out because they are supposed to be at temperatures lower than what our body is. So if you put a laptop on your laps and it generates heat, this heat might eventually damage your ability to produce good quality of sperms. Another thing is the hot bath or bathtubs. People go and they go in sauna or in bathtubs and stay longer time. This exposes your testicle to higher temperatures, and these temperatures may affect your ability to produce enough sperms. Another important thing is about alcohol consumption. Alcohol may affect your ability to produce a good number of sperms. Smoking is also important in this aspect, because if you are a good smoker and smoking for a long period of time, your fertility might be affected, because your cigarette smoking will affect your ability to produce a good number of sperms and of good quality. Another important aspect is related to the environmental exposure to things like pesticides. And for those people who are actually in agriculture or agrochemical factories, or those who sell agricultural products, they need to be very careful about these products, because once they are ingested, whether in small numbers, they can cumulatively cause an effect related to sperm production. Other important thing is like plastics. These days, we use plastics a lot. Almost 90% of the things that we carry them in plastics. Sometimes we put hot drinks in plastics, and our food is prepared covered with plastics. So plastics are everywhere. The microplastics that come from these plastics will eventually accumulate in our body and be able to affect our ability to produce a good number of sperms and of good quality. So, having understood all this, we want to inform you that if you have poor quality of sperms or small number of sperms, you shouldn't lose hope. There is always hope. Why? Because the sperms are produced after 70 to 90 days, and this means that there is chance for correction because of this long duration that is given to sperm production. So what is the solution? What can we do? Or what can a man who has been found to have poor quality of sperms do? Well, lifestyle modification is very important. We advise you to stop smoking, to stop alcohol, try to do exercise if you are obese, and then try to live a healthier life. This is very, very important. Again, try to improve on your nutrition. Take lots of fruits. Some of these fruits contain antioxidants that will help to improve your immune system. and your general health. And this will improve on the quality of the sperms that you are producing. So another important thing is try to avoid using laptops on your laps for a longer period of time. Also try to put on loose underwears so that you can have your testicles breathe, so that the temperatures don't rise, which may result into affecting your sperm production. So it's very important for a couple that is struggling to have a child to visit the doctor as a couple. The doctor would be able to evaluate and find out the factors associated with this difficulty of having a child. It could be that a woman is responsible, but also it could be that a man is responsible. It's very important for us to understand that seeking medical help is very important for a couple that is struggling to have a child. It is not a blame game. It's not a blame game. We have seen that either of the couple can be responsible for failure to have a child. Another important cause of infertility is related to medical conditions such as varicocele. And the varicocele, this is when we have varicose veins of the testicles. Okay? Many people know varicose veins that appear just behind our calf area, calf muscle area, but this type of varicose can also happen in the scrotum or in the veins that supply the testicles. When this happens, it can affect your ability to produce enough sperms and sperms of good quality. Also importantly, infections and hormonal imbalances, this can actually be responsible for low sperm count or poor quality of sperms. As we come to the conclusion, I would like to call upon all people that are struggling to have children, or women that are struggling to conceive, to take their partners along with them every time they are going to seek medical help, because as we have seen, 50% of the cause of infertility could result from male factor, of which poor sperm quality is part of male factors that can result into infertility. If you have appreciated what we have presented today, we call upon you to like, share, and comment on our presentation so that we can be able to reach a bigger audience and help our people to seek help every time they have a problem of infertility. Thank you for listening to me.